In this video, we are going to revise Mathematics paper 1 of the year 2018. And this paper was written by the internal. So let's look at the first question. Find the value of x raised to the power 0 times 2 raised to the power 3. So we have x raised to the power 0 multiplied by 2 raised to the power 3. So any number or letter raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. So there is the x raised to the power 0, we put 1 multiplied by, then 2 raised to the power 3 means 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times. Then 1 times 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. Then if we multiply 1 times 8, we get our final answer as 8. Then we'll go to question 2. Factorize completely. So we have 18 minus 2x squared. Okay, so here we are first going to take out our greatest common factor. So our greatest common factor is 2. Why 2 can go into 18 without giving a remainder, and also 2 can go into 2x squared. So 2 into 18 will give us 9 minus 2 into 2x squared will just give us x squared. Then from there we still have some steps to do. Then 9 we are going to write it as 3 squared. 3 squared is same as 9 minus x squared. So inside the bracket we can see that each factor is raised to the power 2. So we can now finish our answer by using now the difference of 2 squares. So here what you do is 1 3 must be written in the first bracket, the other one in the second bracket. You write the positive, the other one minus, then x here, then also x here. So this is our final answer. So let's go to question 3. Z is a point negative 1,8 and M is a point 2, to find the magnitude of Zm. So there's 2 ways in which we can answer this question. So let's look at we'll consider these as vectors. Then these vectors are originating from 0. So we'll put our Z here. Then here we have negative 1 and 8. Then here we are going to put our M here. Then here we have 2 and 12. Now the question is, if we want to find the vector Zm, how can we find the vector Zm? So if we want to find the vector Zm, we can see that we will move from Z to O. So ZO plus C will move from O to M. So we have OM here. Then ZO, let's look at ZO. What vector OZ is negative 1, 8. What is ZO? So ZO is like we are moving against the arrow. So we are going to multiply negative 1 and 8 by negative number. So we just change the sign. So this will become 1 minus 8 plus C. Then we can see OM, we are just going toward the arrow. So this will be 2 and 12. So let's add these two vectors. So here we are going to have 2 plus 1. Then on the bottom we have negative 8 plus 12. So 2 plus 1 will give us a 3. Negative 8 plus 12 will give us a 4. So this is our vector Zm. But the question is, we are finding the magnitude of Zm. So say Zm. So the magnitude is, now first you write the square root. Then the formula for this one is like x squared plus y squared. So the x squared, the x coordinate is our 3 here, squared, plus the y coordinate, we have 4 here, squared. Then 3 squared is 9 plus 4 squared is 16. Then the sum of 9 and 16 will give us 25. The square root of 25 is 5 units, since the magnitude is a distance. So we can find the magnitude if we are given a pair of coordinates like this for vectors. Let's also find the same magnitude using the formula for the equation, distance of a straight line. So we'll say z is equal to negative 1 comma 8. So we have x1, y1, then m will have 2 comma 12, we have x2, y2. So the magnitude for zm in the coordinates form will write, so this is x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. So let's do the substitution. So x1 is negative 1 minus x2 is 2 squared plus y1 is 8 minus 12 squared. So we know that the first bracket, negative 1, negative 2, we add, so this will give us negative 3 squared plus then 8 minus 12 will give us negative 4 squared. So if we square negative 3 squared will give us positive 9, negative 4 squared will give us 16, 16 plus 9 will give us 25. The square root of 25 will give us 5 units. So this is our answer. So these are the two ways in which we can find this answer. Now let's move on to question 4 here. So use set notation to describe the shaded region in the diagram below. So we have 3 sets. We have set A, we have B, we have C. So here we are looking at the shaded and the unshaded. So the key point is we are finding the shaded, the unshaded in relation to the shaded. So now what I like to do here is first let's try to redraw. Okay, so now what we are going to do here is so you can find that the union of B and C are subset of A, since these two are found in A. So let's make a new diagram, but for this new diagram we are going to use numbers. So let's say here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us list the element of A. So the element of A are 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Even we know that 2, 3, 4 are also part of A, since the B union C is the subset of A. Now let's also list B union C. So we want to combine the elements of B and that of C. So B union C will be 2, 3, 4. Now after we've reached this stage, let's look at what are the elements. Since the only part that we are interested is B union C. The A we are not interested, but this B union C is intersecting of A. So let's do this. B union C, this one intersecting A. So what we want is, let's look at what are the elements that are found that are common from A and B union C. So you can see that 2 is common, 3 is common, 4 is also common. So from this we have the picture here. So now the point is B union C is intersecting A. But this B union C, we don't need it, so we put a complement. So this is what we want from here. Okay, so now let's move on to question 5. Floyd had 125 shares in a company at the end of a financial year, the company gave dividend of 3.00 kwacha per share. How much was due to Floyd? So this is a direct question. So Floyd had 125 shares. Then per share, 3 kwacha was given. So we just multiply 125 by 3. So let's do math. So 3 times 5, we have 15, carry 1. 3 times 2, 6 plus 1, we have 7. 3 times 1, we have 3. So the amount of money that was given to Floyd was 375 kwacha. Okay, now we move on to question 6. A cylinder with diameter 2 centimeters has a volume of 5 cubic centimeters. Find the volume of a similar cylinder with diameter 8 centimeters. So here we have two cylinders. We have a smaller cylinder, then we have also a large cylinder. So this is the first step that we are going to do. Then smaller cylinder has the diameter of 2 centimeters. Then the larger cylinder has the diameter of 80 centimeters. So how can we find the volume? So the question is, we are finding the volume of a similar cylinder. So the volume of a larger cylinder. This is the volume of the similar cylinder. We have it, which is 5 centimeters cubed. Now, for this question, we can just go direct. It's okay. So we can go direct by, we cross multiply. So we know that 2 centimeters times x will give us 2 centimeters x. Then here we have 5 centimeters cubed times 80 centimeters. So we can divide by 2 centimeters here, also 2 centimeters here, so that we know that this centimeter can cancel. 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 8 is 4, 4 times 5 will give us 20 cubic centimeters. And this is making sense because we are solving for the volume for the larger cylinder, and the difference here, we can see that the smaller cylinder has 5 cubic centimeters, while the larger has given us 20 cubic centimeters. We can also do it like this. So we have smaller, then we have large. So we have 2 centimeters, then 80 centimeters. So we can make this as ratios. So we can divide both sides by 2 centimeters so that we can turn this into ratios. So we know that if we divide 2 centimeters into 2 centimeters is 1. Centimeter cancel. 2 into 4, sorry, 2 into 80 will give us 4. Then we have been given the volume of the smaller one, so we put the volume here, then here we put x. So 1 times x is x, 4 times 5 will still get the same answer, 20 cubic centimeters. Okay, so now let's move on to question 7a. The Venn diagram shows sets A and B. List A intersection A complement intersection B. So let's look at the element for A. So the elements for A, we have 1, 3, 5, 6, 9. Then the elements for B, we have B is 3, 4, 5, 6. So the point is, we don't want the element of A, so we'll cancel everything of A also that are found in B. So this one is not needed, so this will cancel this. 5 will cancel this. 6 will also cancel this. even 9 will cancel it. So we can see that if we shade this region of A here, the remaining part here is 4. So A complement intersection B is we are listing, so it's just equal to 4. Now let's move on to 7b. So 7b here, we are told to express these two matrices as a single matrix. So we'll do the multiplication. So it's the first row by this column here. So this will be 1 times -1 plus 4 times 2 plus 0 times 0. We are done with the first column. Let's go to the second column. So it's 1 times 4 plus 4 times 2 plus 0 times 1. Then we go to the last column. So 1 times 5 plus 4 times 3 plus 0 times -2. So we move on to the second row, the same pattern. So it's 2 we multiply with -1 plus 1 we multiply with 2 plus 1 we multiply with 0. We go to the second column. So it's row 2 times second column. So it's 2 times 4 plus 1 times 2 plus 1 times 1. So we go to row 2 times column 3. So it's 1 times 5 plus 1 times 3 plus 1 times -2. So we move on to last row, row 3. So it's 3 times -1 plus 2 times 2 plus 4 times 0. So we go to row 3 times column 2. It's 3 times 4 plus 2 times 1 plus it should be plus so this should be 2 times not 1 times 2. Then we go to 4 times 1. We go to row 3 times column 3. 3 times 5 plus 2 times 3 plus 4 times -2. Now let's simplify our answer. So 1 times -1 is -1. 4 times 2 will give us 8. 0 times 0 will have 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 0 times 1 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. Plus 4 times 3, 12. 0 times -2 is 0. Then 2 times -1 is -2. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 0 is 0. 2 times 4 will give us 8. 1 times 2 will give us 2. 1 times 1, 1. We go to 1 times 5 is 5. Plus 1 times 3 is 3. -1. 2 times +1 is -2. Then let's look at the last row. 3 times -1 is -3. 2 times 2 will give us 4. 4 times 0 will give us 0. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 2 will give us 4. 4 times 1 is just 4. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 3 will give us 6. 4 times -2 will give us -8. So our final answer is -1 plus 8 we'll subtract, so it's 7 plus 0, 7 here. Then 4 plus 8, 12 plus 0 is 12. 5 plus 12, 17 plus 0, we'll have 17 here. Then we'll go to row number 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, plus 0 is still 0. 8 plus 2, 10 plus 1, 11. 5 plus 3 is 8, minus 2 is 6. Then we'll go to row 3. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1, plus 0 is 1. 12 plus 4, 16 plus 4, we'll have 20. 15 plus 6 is 21. 21 minus 8 will give us 13. So this is our final answer here. So let's move on to question 8. For an arithmetic progression, so we have 16, this is our first term. 25 our second term, then 34 third term, 43 fourth term, 52 we have fifth term. Then write down the next term. So the next term, it means we want the number on the position number 6 or the number after the last term, which is after 52. So first begin by finding the common difference. So common difference is equal to second term minus first term, or third term minus second term. So second term is 25 minus first term is 16. So 25 minus 16 will give us 9. So this means that they were adding 9. So 16 plus 9 we get 25, plus 9 34, 34 plus 9 43, plus 9 52. 52 plus 9, here we get 61. So that is our answer for here. So we have 61. We can also find the same answer by using the formula. So Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1, common difference. So the next term, we are finding the number on position number 6. So n is equal to 6. Then our A is our first number in our sequence, which is 16 plus 6 minus 1. Our D is 9. So if we subtract 1 from this, will give us 5. We know that 5 times 9 will give us 45. If we add 45 plus 16 will give us 61. 45 plus 16 will give us 61. So 6 plus 5 is 11. This 5 plus 1 will give us this. So this is how we can find the answer. Then for B we are just looking for anything term. So we know that the formula Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 multiplied by common difference. So Tn, this time whenever you are solving for any term where there is any, you don't substitute anything. But our A is our first term in our sequence, so A is 16. N minus common difference is 9. Now this 9, this expression after the plus sign is same as 9n minus 1. So this 9 multiply with n, then also with negative 1. So Tn is equal to 16 plus so 9 times n will give us 9n. 9 times negative 1 will give us negative 9. So Tn is equal to, if we collect the like terms, so 16 minus 9 plus 9n. So 16 minus 9 will get 7 plus 9n. So this is our nth term. So we move on to question 9. A plane leaves a town P at P is located 0 degrees, which is this is a latitude and it is an equator since we have not been given the direction. So, 30 degrees west and flies due east to a town Q 50 degrees east in 3 hours. So the distance between P and Q is 4,800 nautical miles. So calculate its average speed. So what I like to form here is let's form this. We draw the Earth is surface. So we know that we have this equator. The equator is the longest latitude. So it has 0 degrees. Then let's look at point P. So point P, we are told, is located 0,30 west. So since we have a longitude of 30 passing through the west side, so this line will pass somewhere here. So this is our 30 degrees west. So this point is where our P is. Then let's look at Q. Q is on the same latitude as our P, but 50 degrees east. So this line will pass through here. So have 50 degrees east. So this is our Q. So at least we have a visual representation of what we are looking for. Now the question is, the distance between P and Q is 4,800, and we are told a plane leaves town P, so it was moving from P to Q. Calculate its average speed. So we know that speed is equal to distance over time taken. So the distance we are given is 4,800 nautical miles over the time we are given. Also we are told a plane leaves a town P and flies due east to a town in 3 hours. So we are given 3 hours. So make sure the time is in hours. So if we divide 3 into 4 is 1, remainder 1, so which is now 18. 3 into 18 will give us 6, then 0, 0. So the speed is 1,600 knots. Now let's move on to question B. If the plane leaves P at 06 hours, so P, we are saying at P it was 06 hours. Okay, what time will it arrive at Q? So what time will it arrive at Q? So here we need to find we are calculating. It's like we are calculating, no, sorry, not calculating. So if the plane leaves P at 06 hours, what time will it arrive at Q? So we are told the time taken for this plane to move from town P to Q is 3 hours. So the time it will arrive at Q, we just add. So it's 06 hours, the time of departure, plus 3 hours, the time that the plane took for it to cover this distance. So if we add, it is going to be 09 hours, the time it will arrive at Q. Then let's move on to the next question. So the next question, we have been given that matrix M is equal to this matrix. Find the transpose of matrix M. So for a transpose, you just change the rows of the first column. Matrix becomes the second, the columns of the second matrix. So this is our row 1. in this our second matrix, it will become as our column 1. So here we have 3, negative 1, 0. Then the second one is this one. So negative 2, 1, 3. Then we have this third one, 0, negative 1, 2. So this is our final answer. Then for question B, expand and simplify. C plus C3 squared is equal to C plus C3 times C plus C3. Since we have a squared, it means we have two brackets of the same. So the first one, C will multiply with C times C, we have C squared, plus the second one, C will multiply with 3, C times 3, C3, which is 3C, plus we go to 3 times C, it is C3, 3C plus C, 3 times 3, we get 9. So these two are like terms, so they can be added. So we have C squared plus C. Here we get 6C plus C, 9. So we have a quadratic equation. So we move on to question 11a. A box contains 5 green, 3 yellow and 6 red beads of the same type. Find the probability of picking a yellow bead at random from the box. So probability, we want the yellow. So this is equal to how many yellow? So yellow is 3 over the denominator must be the total of these 3 numbers. So 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 6 will give us 14. So this is the probability of picking yellow. If it was the probability of picking green is 5 over 15, then red 6 over 14, not 15. Now we move on to question B. Find the equation of a straight line passing through 1,5 and 2,10. So the equation of the straight line, the formula is y minus y1 is equal to gradient, open brackets, x minus x1. So 1,5, this will be x1, y1. 2,10, this will be x2, y2. So we need to find the gradient. So the gradient is equal to change in y, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So y2 is 10, y1 is 5 over x2 is 2, x1 is 1. So gradient is equal to 10 minus 5 is 5 over 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 into 5 will give us 5. So that's our gradient. So we can now go back to our equation. So y minus y1 is 5. Gradient is 5. x1 is 1. So y minus 5 is equal to 5 times x will give us 5x. Then 5 times negative 1 will give us negative 5. Then we collect the like term, so this will shift to this side, giving us y is equal to 5x minus 5 plus 5. So this will change to positive, which is y is equal to 5x. These two will cancel. So we can find our equation of a straight line like this. Okay, so we move on to question 12. Y varies directly as the square of x, and y is equal to 96 when x is equal to 4. Find the value of the constant k. So let's write the equation. So y varies directly as the square of x, so x must be raised to the power 2. Then from there, we first have to make the equation of this particular information. So y, this changes into equal sign. Immediately after equal sign, you introduce k. Then k you multiply by x, so this is our kx squared. Then we can find the value. So for us to find the value of k, we are going to use these two numbers here. So where there is y, we put 96 is equal to k. Then here we have x is 4 squared. So we know that here we can say 4 times 4 is 16, or if we want we can just leave it 4 times 4. So that we divide by, let's first get rid of 4 here, we divide by 4, here we divide by 4, so that if I cancel, this is just one way of simplifying, so that we have 4 times k is 4k, then we can divide, 4 here is 1, 4 into 9 is 2, remainder 1, then 4 into 16 is 4 into 16 is 4. So we can say that it is much simpler than going direct. So we divide by 4, we divide by 4. So we know that 4 into 24 will give us 6. Or if we want, we can also do the same. We know that 4 squared is 16 times k, we have 16k, then is equal to 96. So we divide by 16, we divide by 16. Then you can reduce 2 into 96. 2 into 96 will give us 48 over 2 into 80 will give us 2 into 16 will give us 8. Then 2 into 48, 2 into 48 will give us 24. 2 into 80 will give us 4. 4 into 24 will get 6. So there are so many ways in which you can simplify. So the key is you need to look at what works for you as an individual. So let's go to B. B, value of y when x is equal to 5. So the equation is y is equal to kx squared. So y is equal to, what's our k? Our k is 6 multiplied by, we have our x we have been given is 5, so 5 times 5. We know that 5 times 5 is 25. Then if we multiply 25 times 6 will give us 150. So you just say 25 times 6 like this. So 6 times 5 is 30, so 0 we carry 3. Then 6 times 2 is 12 plus 3, 15, so which is 150 here. Then for question C, the value of x when y is equal to 24. So y is equal to kx squared. So this time the y is given 24, so here we put 24. Then our k is 6. We are solving for x. So we have 24. 6 times x squared is equal to 6x squared over 6 over 6. So x squared is equal to 6 into 24 is 4. Let's take the square root. So square root of 4 is plus or minus 2. So these are the two values of x when y is equal to 24. So let's move on to question 13. So question 13, we have A, solve the equation. So 2x squared is equal to 8. So we are solving the equation, we are solving for the value of x. So what we are going to do here is we are going to use the rules from the indices. So we divide first by 2, also we divide by 2 here. So if we divide by 2 here, we have x squared is equal to, we have 4. Then we take out the square root, also the square root here. So we have x is equal to plus or minus 2. Then if we want, we can also say 2x squared is equal to 8. Let's move 8 to the other side. So this will be 2x squared minus 8 is equal to 0. Let us factorize. So if we are factorizing, we know that 2 is common. So 2 into 2x squared will give us x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. So we can divide by 2. Divide by 2. We know that x squared is equal to 4, which is 0. So if we shift this to this side, will give us x squared is equal to 4, which is giving us the same answer, plus or minus 2. Now the mass M of a bag of meal is 25 kg. Complete the statement in the answer space. So let's check for the specimen. So the statement. So we have 25 kg. So here what we need to know is we have not been told whether it's 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. So we are dealing with a whole number. So whenever you are dealing with the whole number, the absolute error is 0.5. So you just have to commit this to memory. So 0.5 or number. Then 1 decimal place 0.05, 2 decimal place 0.005. So that's a pattern. So the first thing that we need to do is we are going to find the maximum value. So maximum value you find by adding. So it's 25 kg plus 0.5 kg. So let's add. So 25, we can just put a decimal here, we add a 0, so that whenever you're adding, make sure that the decimal points are in the straight line. So I have 0, 5 here, then we can add 0 plus 5 will give us 5. 5 plus 0 will give us 5. So the maximum is 25.5. Then after the maximum, we can now solve for the minimum. So the minimum is 25 kg, but this time we subtract 0.5. So 25 minus 0.5. So 0 minus 5, it cancels, we get 1 from 5, we put it here. 10 minus 5 will give us 5. Then here the remaining number is 4. 4 minus 0 is still 4. 2 minus 0 is still. So the minimum is 24.5 kg. So if you look at the symbol here, we can see that we have the first number that we are supposed to put here must be the lower. So the lower is 24.5. Then the greater will be here 25.5. This means that we are looking for the number that is in between 24.5 up to 25.5. So we can now move on. So we go to question 14. In the diagram below, F due east of E. So this point of due east of E is very important. So this line is an horizontal line. Then GF is equal to 60 degrees, angle FEFG is equal to 40 degrees. Calculate the bearing of the first one, F from G. So the first step that we are supposed to do here is, let us extend the lines here. So we are going to extend the lines. So we do the extend, we make an extension here. Then also, then north, also even here. So that is your first step. Then let's look at the first question. So we are solving for the bearing of F. So where is our F? Our F is here. This is where our f is. So then G, so the bearing f, bearing of f from G, so it is coming from G. So this line is our G. So where the bearing is coming from is considered to be the straight line. Then where the bearing is moving or going to is considered to be as a vertical, a slanting line. So the bearing is coming from G. So this line is our G. Then it will move in a clockwise direction. Then this is our point. So the key point is this line is our G, this line is our F, and this bearing is coming from G going to F. So this is the angle that we are solving for. Now, how can we solve this angle here? So we know that we have been given two angles, and the triangle adds up to 180. So we can now find this angle here. So we have 60, then we have 40 here. So if we are solving for this angle, we'll say x plus 60 plus 40 is equal to 180. Then 60 plus 40 will give us 100 degrees is equal to 180. So 100 will shift to this side, giving us x is equal to 180 minus 100. So if we subtract this, will give us 80. So this means that this angle, the O angle for G, is 80. Now from this 80, we only need this part with the direction. So how can we solve this angle? So after, let's look at the F is the due. So if we are to extend this line here, one thing that we need to also understand is whenever we are told F is due east or west, it means that this line and this line are perpendicular, so we are forming an angle of 90. So the other way we can find this angle is we can say that we are forming a right angled triangle like this. Here we have 90, here we have 40. So 90 plus 40 is 130. So 130 subtracted from 180, we have 50 here. So this means here we have a 50 degrees. Then here we have a 30. Since we said this is 80. So the final answer here, we just want a 50 degrees. But since the bearing are written as 3 digits, we put 0 in front. So this is 0, 5, 0 degrees. Now let's look at E from G. E from G. So now this line is still G. Now this time we are coming from this G, will move all the way up to line E, because this is our E. So we've seen the reason why I started by finding 80. So we can see that here we have 30. So if we were to complete, it is giving us a 360. So 360 minus 30 will give us 330 degrees. So that is our angle. Or if we want, okay, let's just say like that. So this is how we can solve this angle. We move on to question E. This should be 15. The point 5, 2 is the midpoint of the straight line x, 9 and b, 3, y. Find the value of x and the value of y. So the formula for midpoint is equal to x2 plus x1 over 2. So it's the average of x2 and the average of y2 and the y1. So that is the midpoint. Now here we are given the midpoint is 5, 2. So here where there is the midpoint we put 5, 2. And remember, the first number is our x coordinate of the midpoint, the other one is our y coordinate. So if we are to write x, 9, so this is our x1, y1. Then our b, 3, y, we have x2, y2. So let's do the substitution. x2 is 3 plus x1 is just x over 2, comma, y2 is just y plus y1 is 9 over 2. So upon reaching this stage, we know that the first expression, this expression represents the x, so we are going to equate to x. So this is 3 plus x over 2 is equal to 5 over 1. We can cross multiply so that we can solve for x. So 1 times 3 plus x is 3 plus x. 2 times 5 will give us 10. Then we shift this number to this side. So x is equal to 10 minus 3, which is x is equal to 7 here. Then the y will also do the same. So the y will be equated to 2. Y plus 9 over 2 is equal to 2 over 1. 1 times y plus 9 is y plus 9. 2 times 2 is 4. If we shift this number to this side, will give us y is equal to 4 minus 9, which is our y is equal to negative 5. So we've calculated these two values. Then for question B, the length of a line is 8 centimeters. If this is recorded as 8.2 centimeters, calculate the percentage error. So percentage error is equal to absolute error over true value multiplied by 100%. Now we have the true value. The true value is 8 centimeters. So how can we find the absolute error? So the absolute error is equal to recorded value, absolute, so recorded value minus true value. So our recorded value is 8.2 centimeters minus true value is 80 centimeters. So if we subtract 8 from 8.2, we get 0.2 centimeters. So 0.2 centimeters is our absolute error over true value is still 8 centimeters times 100%. We can cancel this. So here we can see that we have 0.2 times 100. So this will give us 20% over 8. So if we reduce the number that can go in both 20 and 8 is 4. 4 into 20 is 5% over 4 into 80 is 2. 2 into 5 will give us 2.5%. So this was the percentage error. We go to question 16. Given that f of x is equal to x minus 5 and g of x is equal to x plus 3, find the inverse of f. So f of x is equal to 2x minus 5. So where there is the f of x, you replace with y. Y is equal to 2x minus 5. So our point here is we want to make x the subject of the formula. So this can be written as same as 2x minus 5 is equal to y. So I've just begin with 2x minus 5. Then from there, we are going to shift the 5 to the other side. This will give us 2x is equal to y. So negative 5 will become positive 5. Then you divide by 2. You divide by 2. So our x is equal to y plus 5 over 2. So after we are done, where there is x now, we replace with f of inverse of x is equal to, now we replace y with x, so x plus 5 over 2. So now let's look at question B. Question B, we have f of inverse of negative 10. So this means that, let's see, f of inverse of x. So x is equal to negative 10. So we've seen that we have made the expression for f of inverse of x. It is x plus 5 over 2. So this means now that where there is x, we put negative 10. Even here, negative 10 plus 5 over 2. So negative 10 plus 5 will give us negative 5 over 2. Or if we want, we can reduce. So 2 into negative 10, negative 5 into is negative 2 over, remainder 1 over 2. Then the other one, we have f of g of 3. So we have a composite and given a number. So the first one, let's find the composite of g of f. So here we can see that the first letter is g. You open brackets, then the inside function is f. So we are going to write the function for g. The function for g is this one, g plus 3. Then where there is x here is where we are going to substitute the function for f, since the inside function is f. So 2x minus 5 plus 3. So we know that this will be the same as 2x minus 5 plus 3. So if we add, negative 5 plus 3 will give us negative 2. So this is our g of f of x. Now what is our g of f of 3? So now this time where there is x, we put 3. So this will give us a numerical value, 2 times 3, 6 minus 2, which is giving us f4. Then we move on to question 17. Given that y is equal to 2x raised to the power 3 minus 5x squared plus 4x plus 2, find dy over dx. So we are differentiating. So the original equation is y is equal to, so we are finding the first derivative of this equation here. So this is dy over dx is equal to, so what happens is we are going to move our 3 down here. So this becomes 3x raised to the power. Immediately you bring the power down, you subtract minus 1. So this is what we call a power rule. Then here we'll do the same. The 2 will come in front. So this will be 2x minus 2 minus 1 plus 4. Here we have the power of 1, we move to the front. This will become 1x, 1 minus 1 plus the derivative of a constant is 0. Then let's simplify. So if we subtract 1 from 3, will give us 2 minus, here we have 1 plus 4x will be x raised to the power 0, then 0, just 0. So 2 times 3 will give us 6x squared. 5 times 2, negative 10x. Then any letter raised to the power 0 is 1. So our final answer is 6x squared minus 10x plus 4. This is our first derivative of this question here. Now we can now move on to question B. In the diagram below, AC is equal to 10 centimeters, angle ABC is equal to 90 degrees, and angle BS is equal to 30 degrees. Find BC. Find BC. So let's look at this. So we can see that here, this is our opposite side, adjacent, then hypotenuse. So let's use SOHCAHTOA. So from these three trig ratios, we need to choose a trig ratio that will correspond to the data, the distance that we have, and the distance that we want. So we have the distance h is what we have. So we need to choose between so and the car part. TOA cannot be used because there is no h. Then from there, what are we solving for? We are looking for opposite. So we want a trig ratio where there is the hypotenuse and the opposite, which is so which is sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Now let's look at sine. What angle is here? 30 is equal to, what is our opposite? Opposite is what we are solving for. Then hypotenuse we are given is 10 centimeters over 1. We cross multiply. So 1 times O is O. Then here we have sine 30 times 10 centimeters. So sine 30 is a special angle, so you just have to master this one. Sine 30 is 0.5 or 1 over 2, but you just have to write it as 1 over 2 times 10 centimeters. So our opposite is equal to, what is the half of 10 is 5, or 2 here is 1, 2 here is 5, so it's 5 centimeters. So therefore BC is equal to 5 centimeters. So we move on to question 18. In the diagram below, O is the center of the circle. A, B, C, and D are points on the circumference. AD produce meets line from C at E such that CD is equal to DE. Angle O, AOC is equal to 120. So calculate ADC. So ADC, this angle. So from this, if you are to draw, we know that the angle at the center is twice the angle on the circumference. So we have been given the angle at the center, which is 120. So to find the angle at the circumference, you just divide by 2. So 120 divided by 2, here we have 60. So that is our answer here is 60. Then let's look at ABC. ABC, this angle here. So this angle here, we are supposed to use this property here. So angles in a cyclic quadrilateral, if here we have x, here we have y. So x plus y is equal to 180. So opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral adds up to 180. So here, since we have the 60 here, to find B, you just subtract 180 minus 60 is equal to 120. But don't confuse this 120 here with this 120 here. It is just a coincidence that we have 120 here, but that's not the, it's not, I'm not saying if you have 150 here, then even here you are supposed to have 1. It may sometimes correspond, but the key point is if you have this 160 here, to find this angle you just subtract from 180. Then DEC, this angle here. So we know that ADE is a straight line, so we can find this angle here. So how can we find this angle here? We can use the property that this angle here is equal to this angle x here. So the exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is equal to the interior angle of the same that cyclic quadrilateral. See, since there is 120 here, even here there is 120. Or if we want to know that a straight line adds up to 180. Since we have a 60 here, 180 minus 60, we still get 120 here. Now we have an isosceles triangle, so this means that the angle here and here they are equal, so we can put x here and also x here. So let's solve for x. So x plus x plus 120 is equal to 180. So x plus x is 2x plus 120 is equal to 180. So we can collect the like terms. So 120 will move to the side, giving us 180 minus 120. So this will give us 60 over 2 over 2. Then if we divide by 2, x is equal to 30. So this means that here we have 30, also here we have 30. So DEC is 30. So we can now move on to question 19. The diagram below shows a sketch of the graph of y is equal to 2 plus x minus x passing through the point E and G. Find the coordinates of E and G. So we are solving for the x-intercept. So the first thing, we need to arrange our equation in order. So begin with negative x squared plus x plus c2 is equal to 0, where there is y is 0, because the y coordinate in the x-axis is 0. So we have our A, B, C. So let's use quadratic formula, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus c 4ac over 2a. So the value of b we can see is 1. Minus 4, the value of a is the coefficient of x squared, which is negative 1. Then c is 2 over 2 times negative 1. So negative 1 times 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 plus c minus square root of 1 squared is 1. Then here we can see that negative times negative we have positive. 4 times 1 times 2 we have 8 over negative 2. Then we can add the inside. So 1 plus 8 will give us 9 over negative 2. So the square root of 9 is 3 over negative 2. So we have to separate. So x will negative 1 plus 3 over negative 2, or negative 1 minus 3 over negative 2. So x is equal to negative 1 plus 2. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2 over negative 2, which is x, the first value of x is equal to negative 1. Then here, negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4 over negative 2, which is giving us positive 2. So we know that the first pair will be negative 1 comma 0. The other pair will be 2 comma 0. Now let's go back to our diagram. We can see that E is located on the negative part of X, so this is our E, then this is our G. Then let's also use the factorization method. So if we want to use factorization method, we know that we are supposed to find product, sum, and factors. So the product is the value of A times C. The value of A is -1 times C, which is -2. Then the sum is just the coefficient of B, which is 1. Then the factors, if you are dealing with the 2, if the product is 2, the factors are always 1 and 2. Then since the product is negative while the sum is positive, the bigger number will carry a minus, so that we know that 1 times the smaller number will carry a negative, then this will carry a positive. So this will be -x squared minus x plus 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. What is common here is -x. -x into -x squared is x. -x into -x is 1. What is common here is 2. 2 into 2x is x, plus 2 into 2 is 1 is equal to 0. Here we can see that we have the common factor. We factorize it, so 1 plus x. Then here we make it a bracket, so this is -x plus 2 is equal to 0. Then we equate each bracket to 0, so x plus 1 is equal to 0. -x plus 2 is equal to 0. So if we shift this number to this side, this will give us x is equal to -1, the first value. Then if we move this to this side, it will give us -2. We divide by negative, x is equal to 2. So you can see that we are getting the same value. So you can use the method that you are comfortable with. Now for question B, we are solving for the maximum value of y. Maximum value of y. So the maximum value is the point of y at the turning point. So here we are going to find the y coordinate of the turning point, which is y is equal to 4ac minus b squared over 4a. Y minus 4, what's our a? So according to our equation, our a is -1, our c is 2, minus our b is just 1 over 4 times 1. So 4 times -1, -4 times 2 is -8, minus 1 squared is 1 over 4 times -1 is -4. -8 minus 1 is -9 over -4. So we can cancel this. So 4 into 9 is 2, remainder 1 over 4, or the same as 2.25. So this is our maximum value, and we can analyze it. So we can see that the x coordinate of the turning point will be here, then the y coordinate is somewhere here. So this is where there is y of 9 over 4. So let's look at this question. Now the diagram below shows a triangular prism with AB is equal to BC is equal to AC is equal to E is equal to EF is equal to F, and AD is equal to BE is equal to CE. So let's look at the question. State the number of planes of symmetry of the prism. So let's look at, we have these two faces here, this face and these two faces are the same. And since they are the same, we'll just consider how many sides each face has. So here we can see that these sides are equal and there are 3. So this triangular prism is made up of each face is made up of what we call an equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle is a triangle where all the 3 sides are equal. So if you have a question like this, where as long as these 2 are the same in terms of the size, what you just have to do is you just have to count the number of sides. So it's 3 plus we can also cut this. So it's 3 plus 1, which is it has 4 planes of symmetry. So this is the pattern. So if the sides were 4, it's 4 plus 1, 5 plus 1, as long as they are of the same equal sides. Now let's go to question B. In the answer space below is an incomplete program in pseudocode to calculate the circumference of a circle of latitude x degrees given the radius r of the earth. Complete the program by filling in the blank spaces with appropriate statements. So let's look at it. So the formula for the circumference is equal to 2 pi r cos x. So what are we going to enter? So 2 and pi, these are constants, so these are not considered as our inputs. So the input radius, given the radius, and so we say enter radius, then also enter cos x. Then circumference is equal to, it's 2 times pi times radius times cos x. So that is how we can finish this question. So now let's look at this question here. So we can now look at this question. So we have 3 inequalities. So we'll consider this one, inequality number 1, then inequality number 2, inequality number 3. So what is our question here? So the question is, write the 3 inequalities that define the region R. So it is advisable you begin with the inequality that is touching on one axis. So let's look at this line. So this line is cutting x at -3. Then this region is less, this region is greater. So the left side is less, the right side is greater. Now we can see that the shaded is unwanted, so we want the greater, so we put greater than or equal to. So this is our first inequality. Then our second inequality, let's look at the second inequality. We have been given the coordinates. So it's -3, 10. Then the other one, this point here, it's 3, 4. So we first need to find the gradient, then from there we'll proceed by finding the equation of the straight line. So here we have x1, x2, y1, y2. So gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Gradient is equal to y2 is 4, y1 is 10, x2 is 3, x1 is -3. So if you do math, 4 minus 10 will give us -7 over negative times negative, positive. So here we have 6. So this is our gradient. So the equation is y minus y1. So the equation is now, so let's find it here. So y minus y1 is equal to gradient x minus x1. So y1, so now let's use this pair, since this pair has no negatives. So we use it. So if we use this pair, our y1 is 4, gradient is negative 7 over 6, x1 is 3. Now let's see, first get rid of the fraction. So we can get rid of the fraction by multiplying everything by the denominator, which is 6. So 6 will multiply with y. This will give us 6y. 6 times negative 4 will give us negative 24. Then 6 and this will cancel. We have negative 7, x minus 3. So 6y minus 24 is equal to, so negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. So we shift this number here. So this is 6y is equal to minus 7x plus 21 plus 24. 6y is equal to 7x, 21 plus 24 will give us 45. So we can now divide by 6, even here by 6, also here by 6. So y is equal to negative 7 over 6x plus 45 over 6. Then let's look at the region of interest. So the upper is greater, the lower is less. So we want the less, so we are going to use less than or equal to. So this is our equation. Now let's go to the inequality number. Inequality number 3. So we know the coordinates here is negative 3, 0. So in x-axis is negative, number, 0. Then here we have this 3, 4. x1, x2, y1, y2. So let's find the gradient. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is 4 minus 0, x2 is 3 minus 3. So 4 minus 0 is 4 over 3 plus 3, negative times negative. So gradient is equal to 4 over 6. If we reduce, 2 here is 2, 2 here is 3. Now we can go back to our equation. So our equation is now y minus y1 is equal to gradient x minus x1. So we are going to use this pair. So our y is 4, gradient is 2 over 3, x minus 3. So I advise you to get rid of the fraction by multiplying the denominator. So 3 times y is 3y. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Then 3 times this will cancel, leaving us 2x minus 3. So 3y minus 12 is equal to 2 times x is 2x. 2 times the negative 3 is negative 6. So we shift this number. We have 3y is equal to 2x minus 6 plus 12. So 3y is equal to 2x plus 6 over 3 over 3 over 3. So y 2 over 3 plus 2. Now let's go back to our diagram. So our diagram, here we have greater, here we have less. So we can see that we want the greater part. So we use greater than or equal to. Now let's move on to question. This should be question 22. So solve the equation. So the equation is x raised to the power 1 over 3 is equal to 4. So we need to multiply the power by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1 over 3 is 3 over 1, which is same as 3. So whatever we do on the left side must be done on the right side. So also 3. So that if we cancel this, we have x raised to the power 4 times 4 is 16. Then 16 times 3 is 48. So we have 48 as our answer. Then here in the diagram below, OPQ is a sector of a circle whose center is O, radius x centimeters, and angle PO. Q is equal to 80 degrees. So given that the area of the sector is 308 centimeter squared, calculate the value of x given pi is equal to that one. Okay, so here the formula for the area of the sector, area of the sector is equal to theta over 360, then pi r squared. So the radius we are given, the area we are given 308. Theta, we have this angle here 80 times pi 22 over 7 times the radius is what we are solving for. So here we can reduce, so this cancels. We have 308 8 over 36 times 22 over 7 times radius squared. So over 1. What can we do? We can reduce here for in fact 8 into 36 can 8 go into 36, can 4 go into 36? Yes, so we can still reduce. So I will continue it from here. So what I'm going to do is I will write 308 is equal to 80 is same as 2 times 4, 36 is same as 4 times 9 times 22 over 7 times radius squared, so that we can cancel this and this. So we have 308 is equal to 2 times 22 times radius squared over 9 times 7. So let's look at 9 times 7, so over 1. We can now cross multiply. So here we can multiply 9 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. 49 plus 7, that is 56, plus 7, that is 63. So 9 times 7 is 63. So we have 308 times 63 is equal to 2 times 22 times radius squared. So let's divide by 2, also by 2. So we know that 22 times r squared is equal to 2 here is 1. 2 into 3080 is 154 times 63. Then we can now divide by 22 over 22. So radius squared is equal to, what can we do here? So we can reduce. So we can reduce 2 here is 11. 2 into 154. 2 into 154 will give us 77. Then we have 77 here, so 77 times 63 over 11. So radius is equal to 11 here is 1, 11 here is 7. So now let's multiply. 7 times 3 is 21. Carry 2. 7 times 7 times 6. 7 times 6 is 42. 42 plus what? So plus 2, 44. So 441. So what is the square root of 441? So that is the radius that we are solving for. So the square root of 44, so let's say 20 times 20 is 400. What of 21 times 21? Let's try 21 times 21. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. So 1, 4, 4. So the square root of 441 is 21. So this is what you do. So if you encounter a question where you are given a number that you don't know the square root, you can start multiplying numbers until you reach there. Now let's go to see the diagram below shows triangle A. If triangle A is mapped onto triangle B by translation T, draw B on the diagram in the answer space below. So the translation vector is 3, -2. We need this, okay. So let's find the coordinates for each point. So this point is -4. So -4, comma 2. So for you to find the image, where the image will be formed, you add the translation vector. So let's add. So we know that -4 plus 3 is -1. 2 plus -2 is 0. So the first pair is -1, 0. So -1, 0 is somewhere here. Let's move on to this point. This point is -4. Is -4, 4. So we add the translation vectors 3, -2. So here we still get the same. Here is -1, 4 plus -2 is 2. So -1, 2 is here. Then we go to the last point here. So it's -2, 2. -2, 2 plus translation vector. So -2 plus 3 is 1. 2 plus -1 is 0. So 1, 0 is here. So this is our image. So the translation is just like the movement of an object in a certain direction without rotating. So now we can move to the last question here. So the last question, the The diagram below is a speed time graph of a particle which accelerates uniformly from rest to 12 seconds until it reaches a speed of 12 meters per second. It moves at a constant speed for a further 12 seconds before it accelerates uniformly for another 6 seconds to a speed of v meters per second. So let's look at the first question. Calculate its acceleration for the first 12 seconds. So acceleration is equal to final minus u over t. 12 seconds, so this is where it is starting. So this is our initial point, then this is our final point. So the initial is 0, the final is 24 here. So it is 24 minus 0 over 12. So 24 minus 0 is still 24 over 12. 12 into 24 is 2 meters per second squared. Then B, find the distance which the particle covered in the first 24 seconds. So we are looking for this. So this is a trapezium. So trapezium distance is equal to half A plus C B H. Half A is the distance here, from here up to here. This is our A. So from 12 to 24 is 12 plus the base is here, from here up to here. This is our base, so we just get 24. Then the height is here, from here up to here is our height, which is also 24. So 12 plus 24 is 36. Then 2 here is 1, 2 here is 12. So 12 times 36, so we know 36 here, 12 here. So 2 times 6 is 12, carry 1. 2 times 3, 6 plus 1, 7. 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 3 is 3. So if we add, we have 2, here 13, carry 1, 4. So according to my calculations, I'm getting 432 meters as our distance. Then, given that the total distance was 600 meters, calculate the value of v. So the total distance from here up to here is, now we have the distance from 0 up to 24. So let's subtract this distance. So from 600, the total, we subtract 432. So let's do this, 400 minus. So if we take 1 here, we have 10, 9 here, we have 5. So 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 3 is 6. 5 minus 4 is 1. So we have 168. So the reason we have done this is, we'll consider this part is like this. The remaining part here. Let's hope you can see the diagram here. So we know that from I'm getting let me maybe shade it with a different color, right? So this is the picture here. So we know that from 24 to 30, here we have 6. We have 6. Then from 30 to here, this is our B. This is our B. So because we are dealing with a trapezium. Then here we have our A. So let's look at now, what are we going to do? So let's first look at the values. So from our A, this point will have 24. So here is 24. So we are solving for B. The question is we want to solve for B. So let's go to the trapezium. So distance is equal to half A plus B H. So the distance we have it is 168. Half A we have is 24 plus b is what we are solving, then h is 6. So once the 8 is equal to, here is 1, 2, here is 3. So we have 24 plus b. Then if we want, we can expand, or if we want, we can just go direct. We divide by 3, also here by 3. So that we have 24 plus b is equal to 3 here is 1, 3 here, 3 into 16 will give us 5, remainder 1. Then into 18 is 6. So we shift this to the other side. So b will be equal to 56 minus 24. So 56 minus 24. 6 minus 4 is 2. 5 minus this one is 3. So we have 32. So this means that at this point here, the speed was 32 meters per second. So this is how we can answer some questions. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.